So my name's Paul. I'm from the University of Toronto. We have an atmospheric physics group in the Department of Physics there, and I'm here to talk about how NCAR and UCAR help ignite Canadian research in atmospheric sciences. So we don't have a lot of time together. I guess after this slide, 4 minutes and 45 seconds. So what are we going to do? Well, let's learn what fuels Canadian atmospheric science research and learn how UCAR and NCAR help spark it, and how we are trying to keep that fire alight with a lot of input from UCAR. So, but first, I told you there's a pop quiz. So the three questions are, how many Canadian universities are UCAR members? I can't believe we had somebody who wins that. Name them. Okay, name them, yeah. All right, good. So the three Canadian universities are McGill, University of Toronto and York, and I wanted you also to identify Canadian contributions to UCAR and NCAR. We've got a lot of contributions to the research, to COMET, leadership in model development, and so on. So there's a lot of us involved in UCAR. Why do we like to do research in Canada in this area? Well, we got a lot of raw materials that are quite good. We've got quality undergraduate education, scholarships for graduate students that are pretty generous, good infrastructure support. We are 12-month funded as profs, and we have pretty good overhead rates for grants. So it's not too expensive to hire a student or a postdoc to do research, on the order of $20,000 or less for a graduate student. But we're running out of money. And the real issue right now is that research funds have become hard to come by. So the name of the game is partnerships, and this is where UCAR is really crucial for a lot of the research we do. With access to models and many research facilities, we really get our work done. So I'm going to show you some examples. This is an example from colleagues at McGill, comparing precip from many observational products, CAM and CESM, to look at distributions of extremes. I run a research network called Canadian Sea Ice and Snow Evolution Network, so we do research in that area. And we're partnering with Environment Canada to look at their seasonal prediction systems in the area of snow and sea ice. And it's a large network, and CESM is a big part of the work we bring, the tools we use. And we compare those to the Canadian models. This graphic shows the kind of range of projects we're taking on, looking at processes and predictability and attribution. This is one of our research studies that I'm involved in, and we're looking at large ensembles of CESM simulations, various configurations, and comparing them to observations looking at snow-covered trends. And we see a huge range of observational uncertainty as well as internal climate variability. Peter Taylor's here from York, and he's doing a lot in the area of industrial and commercial partnerships with our version of the Weather Channel, Palmarex. There's MITACs, many private companies that are starting to partner with universities, looking at instrumentation, looking at LiDARs. And Peter's work, in fact, is taking the WRF regional model and implementing a regional forecast system for the Pan Am Games with their operational wind profiler capability in southern Ontario and Quebec. So we have all these examples, and one of the questions we started dealing with in the last year was how to keep this partnership going and enrich it and recognize it formally. So we held a workshop sponsored by UCAR, supported by UCAR at McGill University, and academics across Canada received this invitation, as well as the people in Environment Canada and other agencies. And what we were trying to do is bring people together to really talk about Canadian research and what was happening in Canada and how UCAR could figure into that. So I wanted to take a couple moments to talk about that. This was the morning. Several of your colleagues came up from Boulder to Montreal after a major meeting there and gave an overview for a couple of hours about what's going on at NCAR and UCAR. And then in the afternoon, there was kind of a response to that. We had 3 panels, one that focused on this collaboration between UCAR and Canadian researchers. The second one was focused on education. So we talked about COMET and other aspects of research and training. And the third panel really focused on the research environment in Canada, and we heard a real appeal there, and this was the first time that a lot of Canadian universities had gotten together in this area of atmospheric and related sciences to talk about these issues. And so it was very interesting, and I think one of the things that came out of it was a sense that having UCAR in the room as a US agency, sure, but also as an international player, really helped bring out a lot of players in Canada. So it was really great. And so I just wanted to finish by saying that UCAR its influence extends, and it's a benign influence that extends beyond the borders of the US. It's been a great tool for research and also for community building. And so we look forward to future opportunities to ignite our science. There's a list of acknowledgements there, but I didn't have time to read them.